We're live right now. Oh my God! Holy cow! It's already 3:12.
Wow. Okay.
We got like 48 minutes before our hard cutoff.
Action-packed value pod for all of our watchers, haters, fans, lovers. Can't be quiet.
It's cool. Just keep going.
For everyone out there watching this, whether you like us, love us, hate us, whatever, don't really care. We are back with episode 8. Is this episode 8, Nick?
This is episode 9.
Episode 9.
Episode 8 just got uploaded while we're filming this.
You posted it?
Just got uploaded. It was scheduled for right now.
Oh, cool. So yeah, episode 8 just got live, but we are back, episode 9, with our good friend Brian Moncada.
Yo. What's up, boys?
You know, I want another just really.
Did we say that right? Is it Moncada?
It's actually Moncada, but yeah, Moncada.
Okay.
All right, dude.
Growing up in Arizona,
I was just curious.
Moncada was the way.
I'm a gringo. Take it easy on me. But yeah, Brian is one of our good friends here in Miami. We just kind of, I don't know how we connected. I think
fucking Twitter.
I saw you on Twitter and was like, yo, you're here. Like, let's link. I remember seeing you back, like way back in a Dean Graziosi vid, like 2 years ago. Legend of an internet marketer, entrepreneur. So yeah, Brian, I'd love for you to
Introduce yourself.
Give a little intro.
Because we know you, obviously. And
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so yeah, like you said, dude, 3 years ago, I was still working for Dean Graziosi full time, just running all his YouTube ads, Google ads, and then I started adspend.com, which is what I'm doing now full time. The company, we're an agency. We run YouTube ads for guys just like Dean, personality brands that sell info marketing products, courses, coaching. Pretty much anybody you can name, we've probably worked with them or will work with them. And last November, moved to Miami, and that's when I met these boys. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Here
it's
we
amazing.
are.
Did we really meet in November? I think it was this year.
We didn't meet in November, but we met, I think it was like January maybe.
I remember we went to the beach.
No, it was later than that.
Beach in Lilicoy. It
Either
had to be
way.
later than that. It had to be like March.
It was during like whiteboard era.
February.
Yeah, it was when I started
February.
taking Twitter pretty seriously.
Yeah,
and that's
February,
when it was like
March.
January, February. And then I went from like
Yeah.
500 to like 2,000 like pretty quickly. And,
And you're still small on the internet.
Yeah.
And this is something that is very interesting to me because you're like niche internet fame, because the people that need to know you.
Yeah.
Right? The people that are like going to be your clients know exactly who you are. And then the people that are just, the general people, the people that are hating on us on TikTok, right, on our podcast, they don't need to know you, and they don't know you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like this niche internet fame. Like you work with Sam Ovens a little bit, stuff like that. Can you talk on that and what your theory is and like how you're trying to build your personal brand?
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing that's allowed me to be, I guess what you said, niche known in the internet marketing world is just being credible with actual results. Like if you go to our website, adspend.com, like there's no way you can deny the results.
Yeah.
It's just everybody we've worked with, the testimonials we have.
You can't deny
the results speak for
adspend.com.
themselves.
You can't deny adspend.com.
And the domain helps, right?
Let's talk about the domain, because I've seen you talk about that before and how you actually got it, and it's a very
let him
strong.
finish his
Sorry.
thought.
I got excited.
I can go any type of way. Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's do
my
it.
bad,
So,
my bad.
yeah, when basically I was working full time for Dean, right? And then when I was transitioning away, I had to figure out a way to brand myself. And at that time, I was calling myself the YouTube ad pros. Pretty gay, whatever. But like that was the name that I came up with at the time. And then I was like, I need to go bigger. I need to think of a better brand. And my favorite show during college was Mad Men, right? Whose favorite show wasn't that? I think if you're into advertising and marketing, it was Don Draper. Everybody wanted to be like that. In my opinion, that's what got me into advertising. I just saw him like, dude, first episode of that show, if you've seen it, he just pulls out in his desk, like just 5 clean collared, white button down shirts, freshly pressed, and just changes out mid meeting. And I'm like, this guy fucks, dude. And that's when I was like, okay, how can I just give some inspiration to that show? And then I came up with the name AdSpend, right? Because that's what we do. We run ads. And I reached out to the third-party brokerage that was going to sell me this domain. They wanted $25,000. I said, no, I don't have that right now. And negotiated them down a year later. So I got the license plate on my car first. And then a year later, I said, COVID hit. This is when I went full-time into AdSpend to building the agency. And then I reached back out to them and I was like, you guys still want to sell this? And they said, yeah. And they said 12.5, and I was like, oh, it's half off now. And then I said, I won't do that. I'll do 3. And then they said 7.5. I said, I'll do 4. They said no, and I said, okay, how about 5? and then we sold it for 5. Dude.
Dang.
So I bought it for $5K.
My boy Brian took his lunch money.
Yeah, so it's probably worth like a couple. It's worth probably a lot more now, obviously, but yeah, going back to the point about the personal brand, just working with the guys we've worked with, I think that's how I've done a pretty good job of building somewhat of a personal brand, just having credible results, social proof.
Do you go for it?
I was gonna say it's really interesting too, because obviously, like, you know, we're a little, like, the podcast got rushed around, a bunch of shit's been going on today, and then we had that guy post the clip of the pod, and it's super interesting to me because, like, obviously all of, like, what Nick and I have done, or primarily all of it, is on the organic side, and obviously they, like, work together, paid ads and organic traffic. But it's super interesting to me, especially knowing you, because I would say, like, you're a more traditional values sort of person. And it's really interesting with, like, all the internet businesses, when you can, like, people could hate till the end of time, but when you have those really tangible results that you can get for someone else, like, it doesn't matter. To me, it's like the buffer between cancel culture and all these different things, and you can have that skill set that you can always leverage. Like, you will always be able to generate revenue, because there will always be people running YouTube ads, and they need someone good, and they don't give a shit what you think.
There'll always be people buying or watching YouTube, right? Or watching or on Facebook or on these platforms. There's always going to be the ad space available.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And even if it's not YouTube, right? Like, I think YouTube's going to be here for at least another 10, 15, 20 years minimum, in my opinion. But even if it's not YouTube ads, like, the principles of advertising online, running ads, is the same no matter what platform. It just changes depending on the platform.
So why did you pick YouTube?
Dude, I love YouTube. And that's what I learned first. Like, I mean, that's when I went to go work for Dean, they already had a Facebook ads guy. And I had to stand out and obviously add value. And I was going to learn Facebook ads, but we already had that on lock. There was a guy named Ryan O'Donnell who I learned direct response marketing from. Shout out to Ryan. At that time, he was only 16 years old. I was 21, 22, learning from a 16-year-old. And this kid was just teaching me everything about copywriting, running ads, Facebook ads. And then they're like, we need someone to run YouTube. And that's when YouTube was, like, not really a thing back then, YouTube ads specifically.
What year was this?
This was 2018. So, like, Ty Lopez was just starting to blow up.
That was
around,
just,
like,
that he was 2018?
I mean, I think so.
I thought it was 2015.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you're right. So it was like, but still, nobody was doing YouTube ads.
Yeah,
like,
no,
at
nobody.
scale.
It was
right?
like Becker.
Yeah. It was really just Ty that blew it up. And Becker, like you said. Yeah. So, and then I was like, okay, well, they want me to do this. So I just started learning everything I could about YouTube ads. And I literally got paid on the job to spend money and learn how this works. So I got the shortcut.
Super
I got the
sweet.
unfair advantage.
That's super sweet. And I think that's what everyone should do if they're, like, try to find a job like that.
Work to
can
learn,
teach
man. Yeah, work to learn, not to earn. Rich dad, poor dad.
I mean, I had a really similar experience working for Jared Getz when I was younger. And, like, it's really interesting because I don't know if you had a similar experience, but, like, for me, because I was I dropped out end of 2018 and then, like, started personal training. Doing that, I was working for, like, Ben Patrick and their team back then.
It was huge.
In person. He was much smaller then. Like, he had, like 10K followers on IG back in the day. Obviously, he's blown up since. But then I left there. But the whole time I was doing that, I was, like, in the, starter or, like, internet marketing, like, learning phase, like, buying courses, watching people's stuff, like, just consuming a bunch of stuff and trying to figure it out. And then I left there and I worked for Jared, and that's when I'm sure you got to meet, like, a lot of the big names in the space and just interact with them. And it was really interesting for me in a very pivotal moment because, like, once I got my feet wet and get in the swing of work, it was like, it really made things real to me and realized, like, damn, these people, like, aren't that different. They've just, like, been working on the fundamental skill set of understanding people. And when we first met, because I didn't know what to expect, like, meeting you, and obviously you turned out to be a really cool guy. Like, you train and you're into MMA and, like, doing all this stuff. And so I was stoked about that because I've met a lot of people that, like, make internet money, but they're just, like, kind of weird and just, like, not someone I would hang, you know what I mean? Like, not people I would hang out with.
Yeah.
But they're cool to talk about business with, but not like a friend.
Yeah, you would hang out with them outside of, like, just business talk.
Exactly. And then the other thing that really stood out to me was, like, there's people that run ads that are, like, very quantitative, like, numbers, just, like, media buying, like, spend money, like, tactical kind of thing. But
like analysts.
Data analyst sort of feel. But you have the the creative sort of thing and like the emotional. I would love for you to talk about that, because to me, I think that is like my biggest skill set. And a lot of the people that I know that are really good marketers, they have that more like interpersonal psychology, creative sort of feel to marketing. 100%. So I would love for you to talk about like that and direct response and your background a little bit.
I think that's why we all get along more than anything, because I think we're all creators at heart. Like, I mean, I used to rap like in high school. I used to produce my own like songs. I had a studio in my closet where I had my own like mixing software. I would use like Cubase, and I would make my own tracks. Like my MySpace is still out there.
You gotta come get in the studio.
Yeah, I used to call myself B Money, dude. So like I would brand myself and like make music, and like that was how I got into like doing anything creative. And then I went to college, and then I started socializing with people, obviously, and just learning how to be cool and just being friendly or whatever. Anyways, and then that, getting into work with like Dean, right? You get to meet a lot of people, and I owe a lot of my success to Dean. But ultimately, like, dude, I've always, and then I had YouTube at that time too, my own YouTube channel documenting my fitness journey when I was going to Arizona State, right? Because my story is I was born with pectus excavatum, which is like the indented chest, right? Mm-hmm. And so people who have that, they're self-conscious about it, just like I was. I didn't want to take my shirt off at the pool, didn't want to be around girls without my shirt off because they'd laugh at me, make fun of me, all these insecurities that you have as, a teenager growing up. And then I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm just going to build a body that I'm proud of and grow confidence in the gym and not get surgery. And so then I started documenting that journey on YouTube. And that's how I was already exposed to content, because I was watching guys like Christian Guzman, dude. They were just getting paid
Nick loves Christian Guzman.
Getting paid
I don't love him, but like
I liked him at the time.
You know what I mean?
I saw him at like when he was 19 and he started his brand, and then
you love his brand and what he does with
to see what he's
you respect the hustle,
is
dude.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I watched a podcast he did the other day where he's like, our Alpha Land gym is doing $1 million a month, and the Alpha Elite clothing is going to do like 120 this year. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Think about
wow. And he built that off his YouTube.
We were just watching him on YouTube, filming his fitness workouts and training people. And I'm like, you can get paid to work out and eat. And I would tell people, I want to get paid to work out and eat. And then they would laugh. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And so but I knew it was possible. And so fast forwarding to your question, the creative, I had to learn how to run ads and do the media buying, like the technical stuff, because that's how I knew I could deliver value to the vehicle I was in, right? I had to learn that to get good at it. But ultimately, what I learned from Dean specifically, again, who I owe a lot of my success to, and I'll always respect him as a mentor for everything he's done for me, was how to sell direct to camera, dude. Dean is, in my opinion, the best at direct response marketing, especially when it comes to selling on camera. Like, he's been doing it since the infomercial days, when you had to get someone to stop when they were walking across the television set to call in and then buy a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard to do. Yeah. So to transfer that knowledge to me, and then working with clients that we work with, it's like 80% of our focus with clients is on the creative. If the ads suck, it's never going to work.
And on that note of like the television advertising and infomercial, we have to kind of remember, and I have to remember sometimes, it's super easy for us nowadays. What we do is super easy compared to like 30 years ago.
Versus direct mail Chads.
Yeah, dude.
We're pussies compared to those dudes. They're savages.
Like, what we do is so easy compared to that. We have the TikTok algorithm just blasting clips to people organically now.
Yeah, you can see what's already working, right? Whereas like Gary Halbert, right, a legend in the copywriting space, would send direct mail, and he would split test with 1,000, postcards and see like, okay, well, we only got this many sales. Fuck. Now we got to change this. Spend more money, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to think about it.
How did you get started?
That's my next question. I really want to know how you got to Dean, and then how you left Dean and got to where you are now, and like the intricacies, like the behind the scenes stuff that you don't really talk about. Yeah.
So I think it was when I was graduating Arizona State University. I was a senior, and I was really programming myself with like Grant Cardone. That's when Grant Cardone was popping as well. Like, just posting daily YouTube videos, going live every single day, just going hard. And I was like, okay, this guy is obviously someone that like I look up to kind of like as a father figure, because like he was like Uncle G, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he was just going hard. And he was always talking about, dude, you got to get in a sales vehicle. You got to get uncapped commission. You got to go write your own paycheck. And so I graduated college, went to go, I committed to work for Pepsi, which was for their Frito-Lay department, to be a sales manager. Nice. But 2 weeks on the job, I quit because I was like, this isn't for me. Everybody there was just making a steady paycheck, but they were all dead on the inside. You could feel it, dude. And like, I already knew, like, if I stay here, I'm going to die.
I know that too
well. I'm going to die really quickly. I'm going to die when I'm young, because I'm giving up on everything I want to do. And so I quit to take a cold call sales job with a startup company where I just was cold calling. because I was like, okay, I'm going to get paid half of what I was going to get paid at Frito-Lay. However, there's commission involved, so now I can write my own paycheck. And my goal is to make the same amount of money as the Pepsi job doing this cold call sales job. So I was just listening to Grant Cardone all day long, doing cold calls, and I made the same amount of money my first year at this cold call sales job that I would have made at the Pepsi. So I did that. And then I quit that to go do door-to-door sales because I was like, okay, I need to make more money. I was just very money hungry at the time.
What period is this over?
This was before I went to go work for Dean. So I
like how many years was that?
So I did a year with the startup company doing cold calls, and then I quit to go do door-to-door sales. So this was when I was probably 19, 20. Okay. And then I did door-to-door sales for about 4 months in Yorba Linda, California, trying to sell solar panels for another startup company, knocking on doors. You guys want some solar? like, are you the homeowner here? Yeah. Right? Just door knocking. And I would do that from sun up to sundown. We would train every single day. Everybody, I was like, this was literally the vibe, right? Mm-hmm. Just everybody in this room would wake up, listen to 6 episodes of Grant Cardone on Sales Training University, and then we would go knock doors. And then I was just eating into my bank account because the way solar works is it's pretty fucked. Like you can sell a deal, but it won't get installed until maybe 3 or 6 months. So you don't get paid until it actually gets installed, right? So I was just eating into my savings account. I was like, this doesn't make financial sense. And I knew I wanted to go build an online business.
Okay.
And that's when everything changed because
why did you want to build an online business?
That was what I was watching Christian Guzman do. Okay. So backing up to what I was originally doing in college, right? And I was like, I know what I need to be doing. It's building a personal brand where I'm sharing my own story, my own journey, and helping people along the way, which is what my goal always was. And so I had to go learn from someone who had that. And I remember reading Dean's book, Millionaire Success Habits, before I went to go do door-to-door sales.
Our sales guy sitting right here, I'm pretty sure bought that funnel. You probably sold it to him.
Millionaire Success Habits? No. Ryan, who I learned copywriting and direct response marketing from as well, sold that. He was running the ads for Dean at the time. Anyways, that's how I got sold.
You bought Dean's? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first time I heard of Dean was on Lewis Howes' School of Greatness podcast.
Cool.
And I was like, this guy kind of sounds like me. He talks as energetic as me. And, he's...
You know what's something interesting about Dean? I feel like everyone kind of knows him, like from the infomercial days. Like even subconsciously I have something there. But he's, like I know he's on the platforms organically, but he's not really like crazy on the platforms. Like everyone's like talking about Hormozy and Cardone and stuff right now.
I feel like if we went to his page, he probably would be. It's just his content's not really for us.
I guess maybe I just don't see him.
But like you said, everybody respects Dean and knows of Dean, who is crushing it regardless.
I just feel like he lives in that ad world.
Yeah.
Do you see like, and we're getting like super deep into like the ad like specifics and stuff, but do you ever see and I know you didn't fully finish
I can finish
the
the
last question, but do you ever see a difference in the organic guys versus the paid guys on these platforms?
This is a good question. I think more than ever, everyone's going to start doubling down on organic. We're already seeing it, right? Alex Hormozy is not investing in ads. He's investing in organic, right? Like 40 grand, 50 grand a month.
Because the distribution's ridiculous.
And ad costs are only going to go up, right? It's just going to get harder and more competitive, more saturated. I do think you need both. Obviously, still, you'll always need both. But the way I see it, I learned this from Sam Ovens, and Sam said, YouTube ads is to get in front of people fast, right? It's the fastest way to get in front of people, advertising. Your ideal clients, YouTube ads. YouTube organic is to make people fall in love with you. And then email list is to remind people about your offer and your YouTube channel. Yeah. So like you need all three, ads, organic, and an email list. So I see organic still being an absolute necessity, which is exactly what obviously you guys are really good at. And I'm learning from both of you more than anything on Twitter and on Instagram. So I respect you guys a lot because that's how I connected with you guys in the first place. It was like the funniest part about this. So to finish up the story, and I'll come back to you guys. I went to go work for Dean because I knew he had a business that I kind of wanted to have. He had a personal brand. He did marketing. And I cold emailed him. And I said, I don't know if you're hiring or not, but here's what I'm doing. Here's how I can help you. I'm going to follow up with you until I get an interview. I actually got an email back the next day from Jeremy at the time, who was his co-CEO. And I quit my job that night to go out for the interview, packed my car just for that interview, and I got the job on the spot. So that was crazy. And then I went to go work for Dean for almost 3 years after that. And then the rest is...
You said I'm quitting and just left.
Yeah, because I knew it was a bigger opportunity. I had to go all in.
Even before you had the job?
I didn't. Yeah. And the funniest part is I was living with about 9 other guys at that time in this house in Yorba Linda. And the guy I was sleeping next to in one of the rooms, he was like, well, dude, like, hey man, like, why don't you just go out for the interview, and if you get it, then you can come back and get all your stuff. And I already knew at the time, like, this was the opportunity. Like, this doesn't happen. Like, this is where I have to go all in. And so I literally quit and packed my bags that night.
I did the same thing
when
I started working for Jared. He posted something like, hey, I want somebody young, hungry, whatever. And I like instantly messaged him, like send me an email, boom, like a crazy
speed, bro.
Crazy like direct response email.
Gotta
that was
commit.
my first copywriting that converted really, really well.
Yeah.
Is sending that email to get the job. Very similar story.
Cold
just
email. Yeah, you got to commit first and figure the rest out later.
Yeah.
I found that always works for me because it just eliminates the procrastination of thinking, right? And you just choose a decision, you just go in, and it usually works, or you learn. And so I worked for Dean for 3 years. And then anyways, coming back to you guys, when I first moved to Miami, before I even moved here, I was already on Twitter since like 2012, 2013, but I wasn't on Twitter posting. I was just following people. I was following people like Nate Schmidt, right? When he was like looked at as the Twitter god at that time.
He like probably got me started more than anyone.
Yeah.
To start doing that.
Andrew Tate Andrew Tate today was always getting banned, and like you would always know about Andrew Tate before as well on Twitter.
Yep.
And then I moved here and I started, but I was already following guys like Daniel, right? Like Cold Email Wizard. I was already following these money Twitter guys, and obviously you guys as well. I was already connected with, so I was like, let me just connect with these guys because these guys are crushing it on these platforms organically. I'm the ads guy. Nobody really knows about me or what I do. So I got to start building this personal brand. Yeah. And obviously that's how we connected. And I just started adding value, I think. And
you have what, 2,000 something followers, right?
On Twitter now I have almost 6,000.
Okay, my bad. I
mean, it's not a lot. It's not like it's a pretty big amount.
So out of those 6 though, you sign clients, I imagine, out of those.
Yeah.
What are you ROIing, do you think, on your time and, maybe whatever money you've invested? Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to quantify. I don't know. Like, I don't have specific like UTM links on my Twitter
I guess
posts.
the question is it worth it?
Yeah, because it's not even like the ROI I'm making monthly, I would probably say isn't really like probably a lot. I would say maybe 10 to 20 a month just off like 1 or 2 sales.
Yeah.
That's like done with you, right? But the long term, if I keep doing this over the next 5 to 10 years, that's where I'm thinking about, right? Because it's like I'm at 6K now. I've only really started tweeting since January, taking it more seriously. That's literally 6 or 7 months, 8 months. So like if I can get to from 500 followers to 6K, just sharing and adding value to people in a matter of 6, 7, 8 months, imagine where I'll be in 5 years. And that's the same with my YouTube channel. But YouTube is always going to be my main like focus because the YouTube, I think there's still this factor with YouTube where like, man, people on YouTube, they'll just watch your shit and they'll know everything there is to know about you. Like when I first met you guys too, even on Twitter, like I would constantly see you guys posting and I'm like, I already know these guys. So that's why when we met, it was like very easy for us to click because I was like, I'm interested in all the same things you guys are, which is why we're even hanging out in the first place.
Yeah.
So you got to have both, I believe, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all 3. But yeah, man, you got to love the organic.
What do you think holds people? Because it's really interesting and obviously like top of mind, like you see these like funny comments on stuff and like the more I really just like do it and just let the shots fly. I really don't care anymore. Like back a couple years ago, it might have affected me a little bit, just like seeing like negative feedback. But what do you think like holds people back from taking the leap and just kind of like, because I feel like it's such an interesting conversation to me when we talk with people like you or email or whoever else. They all had the conviction before they had any sort of results, right? Yeah. And it's they all share the same trait of like, they see someone else doing it and they think that, or we think that we can do it just based on seeing someone else do it. And it's really interesting because I feel like that, especially with people that are, giving negative feedback online, because I'm sure you've gotten it, Nick's gotten it, everyone that's Grant Cardone definitely gotten it. Yeah. All these guys who ascend and become like the household names and really blow up, whether that's using paid media or Ty Lopez, paid media or organic, like they have to go through all of that kind of pain up front and getting rid of that to get to where they are. And so what do you think like stops people from sharing that mindset of like, I can do this too, or like I'm just gonna like write it off and it's a scam and I hate these people. You know what I mean?
I think it's the self-talk number one. I mean, growing up for me personally, like I would always visualize myself telling my story And like, honestly, I would always visualize myself telling my story, like when I was taking showers or I was in the bathroom, like just preparing, like to share my story and like how this was always going to be a wonderful story one day. Like I would picture myself sharing it on like Ellen DeGeneres, dude. My mom loved Ellen DeGeneres at that time.
My
like
mom
growing
did
up,
too.
she
My
would
mom did too.
yeah, she would dance with her on TV and stuff. And like, I would always come home and she'd be the one like watching TV and like she'd be getting us to dance. It was hilarious. And I love my mom. So I wanted to make my mom proud. And I would always picture myself sharing my story on Ellen DeGeneres and how I overcame whatever I came at that time. And I would always just self-talk to myself like, dude, I'm gonna be great one day. Like, and it's just that self-talk that I think also cripples people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just think I'm not good enough. I'm not special.
The problem's like in their head.
It's in their head. And then it's also just getting the reps, bro. Like, you know this better than anybody. I think we all know this better than anybody. It's like the gym too. Like it's also a perfect metaphor for life. You got to put in the reps. How can you expect to start sharing if you just don't start, right? It's just not possible.
Yeah.
You just got to start posting. You got to start sharing. You got to start, and it's also thinking about how you can help, right? Versus helping yourself. How can you add value to somebody? How can you give them something that can help them really improve their mindset or their life?
Yeah.
Which is what you guys are doing all day long.
What problem are you solving?
Exactly.
That's how you build an audience.
And
Solve a
it's- yeah.
specific problem for your audience.
And you also just got to learn too. Like you got to learn, you just got to get a different awareness. Like start reading books. The first book that changed my life was The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. And it really should be called The Psychology of Life, because the 3 words that I learned from that book that changed my life forever is I like myself. I like myself. And in the audiobook, he goes, I like myself, 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 I like myself. And yeah, that sounds cringy or corny, or maybe it's funny to people that will troll us on TikTok. But dude, that 3 letter, those 3 words will change your life if you take it seriously, because you have to first like yourself to be able to have the confidence to do anything in life.
Well, it's really interesting because like it's so funny, especially with people that might not resonate too. Like, as I look back on everything I've done, like there are all these tactical things and like little tweaks. Like, for example, we always tell our clients that doing organic stuff, like you have to write that so that this can be either the most educational, inspirational, or entertaining message to one specific person.
Yeah.
And think about how you can make that individual piece of content impactful to them. And it's like, yeah, man, I don't know. It sounds crazy to those people, but as I look back in my own life and like successes and what has worked, what hasn't worked for me, like, dude, a lot of it, like all the simple shit is what actually matters.
Yeah.
And then just going deep on the simple shit and digging that well every day, day after day.
Just
like,
showing up.
It is super
That's
crazy.
the secret. That is
You
the
just got to
secret.
show up every single day, dude. Like Grant Cardone, he showed up every single day. Another guy that's blowing up right now, Wes Watson. He's always showing up at 4 o'clock in the morning on his Instagram at the gym in his freaking, Rolls Royce or whatever he's driving, right? And he's just like always up at 4 a.m. no matter what. I'm like, this guy's undeniable. You can't deny him. He's just going to keep showing up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's just, you got to show up.
Yeah, because that really is like the secret. If you want to get good at YouTube ads, you write 100 YouTube ads.
Yeah.
If you want to get good at Twitter, you write 100 threads. If you want to get good at TikTok, you post 100 videos.
And what you said, though, is key, though. You got to talk to one person specifically. So, like, right now, I have a YouTube coach specifically. His name's Clark. He's one of my best friends. He has 1.14 million YouTube subscribers. Wow. So he's, like, technically a full-time YouTuber.
What do you mean by YouTube coach?
I'm paying him to coach me on how to get better at YouTube organic.
Gotcha.
Because he's doing it and has already done it, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, it's funny. I thought I know a lot about YouTube because I run YouTube ads for all the guys that, we do it for.
Can you name some?
Well, you can go to adspend.com and check it out. But I mean, like, we've partnered with obviously Sam Ovens on a mastermind called WeTube. So, speaking at his mastermind, we've ran ads for Nick Unsworth, who's another popular influencer in the Christian entrepreneur space, Jordan Belfort, like Bedros Koulian, John Asseroff, Roland Frazier, digital marketer. We've consulted with companies like Kajabi, Cole Gordon. So those guys.
TikTokers are going to hate you.
Well, they can see on adspend.com. I mean, it's there. But I paid Clark for organic coaching on YouTube, and I thought I knew a lot about YouTube. And then he's just a master at it. He's put in 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
He's put in literally 10 years. He's been doing YouTube organically for 10 years. And it shows because he has 1.14 million subscribers. But what you said earlier is, and he told me this, he goes, dude, it's no you guys, it's no you guys got to do this, or does that make sense? Or like talk to a bunch of people. It's like, no, it's you. It's one person. It's one person watching the video. You only have to speak to one person. Like, that seems like, well, duh. But it's like, Some people, sometimes we forget about that as content creators or people that want to help people.
Something that I've always told my clients over the past couple of years, like when they're talking on IG selfie videos, a lot of people just kind of, their eyes glaze over and they're like kind of talking, they're looking at a weird spot on the camera or whatever, not really like looking at the camera, talking directly, confidently, etc. So there's that part of it, but also having a conversation and being very conversational rather than like transactional and like, here's some advice and here's
you're
some
like
random
tensed
thing.
and you're trying to sell it and you're like,
Yeah.
hopefully this is good.
Exactly. So on that same note, it's like being conversational with the camera or however you are filming what you're saying is super huge. Well, it's very like psychologically driven.
Yeah, and that's like a fundamental piece of like marketing too, whether it is organic or paid. Like,
Yes.
because when you're talking to one person, it forces you to get specific about who that one person is and their fears and their beliefs and their dreams and their hopes and everything about them. And if you can really cater in on that, obviously you get so specific to the point where, you know, they feel like it's for them. They have to have it.
Yeah, you're like, they basically say, dude, you're in my head. How?
Yeah.
And it's like, because you just enter the conversation going on in their head, right? And then ultimately, you're also writing to a friend. You're talking to a friend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to sell you guys on anything. If I had to sell somebody on something, I would just talk to them like, well, like, what are your problems? Like, and I would just explain it to them on why this would be a better solution and how it could help them. That's how you should also write your copy, film your ads, post your content. Don't try hard, because when you try hard, that's like when you start trying, you start dying. Like that's what I've always said. Like if the moment you start trying is the moment you start dying, dude. You just gotta let it flow.
Like you gotta be obsessed with it. Where it's like you wake up in the morning, you just want to do it. You go to bed, you force yourself to go to bed because you just want to stay up and do it. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, it's also just like
they're like two tokens of the same statement.
Yeah.
I think like Brian's saying you need to.
like don't be
like-
a tryhard, dude. Like
Yeah.
don't try to
Just
force it.
let it
Yeah.
flow
Let it
out,
flow.
and you're saying it has to be something that you naturally want to pursue, so
Yes.
that becomes flowful.
So
and like they're kind of saying the same thing.
100%.
I think.
Let's talk about, and I don't know if you can answer this, and I don't know if you know the full strategy, but I want to talk about how Ty Lopez did his whole thing back in 2015. And I want to know, because I know the strategy, but I don't maybe know the intricacies of the strategy and the behind the scenes. So how did Ty Lopez go and do what Ty Lopez did?
Well, from what I saw personally and experienced myself with what I know now about marketing, YouTube ads specifically, at that time, dude, nobody was buying YouTube ads. Like the ad cost was just so minimal.
Yeah.
And then here's this guy that comes in who, you know, at that time is wearing glasses, kind of looks a little bit nerdy, right? And he just has this freaking Lamborghini in his garage, and he's selling also a mass market offer.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing too. He's selling an offer that tons and tons of people can buy, and it's a low price point that you can justify making that purchase. And so he gets people based off the I think it's like the 20 cognitive biases, right? One of them's like just being behind or being in front of a nice car. Automatically people associate that car with status. This guy must know what he's talking about. He has a Lamborghini in his garage, and then he flips it over to all these books. He must be smart. He reads all these books. He has a bookshelf in his garage. So now you're thinking, okay, well, this guy's got a Lamborghini. He's standing next to a bookshelf. He's talking about knowledge and how you need to read books. Maybe I should click and learn more about what this guy has to offer. And then also he's buying all the ad space because he's making a return on ad spend, which means he's spending God knows how much to get a customer. Let's say he spent $30 to get one person to buy $67. Well, now he's spending $1 to get $2 back.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't keep pushing yes on that button and spend more? You're going to the lottery, you're going to the casino, and the casino machine says, you put $1 in, I'll give you $2 back. I'm going to go take out loans, bro. I'm going to go take out loans and put everything I can, go take my grandma's money and push it in here because I'm going to make the return on ad spend back.
That makes me think of the time we were at the Italian restaurant.
Yes, and I can't believe he didn't spend more. Please tell this story.
Oh my gosh, this was so funny. So we obviously, if you guys watched the pod, you know, you saw our podcast with Daniel called Email Wizard, and he had at the time he was like, I feel like he's the first person that's run Twitter ads successfully, actually, which is insane, because all of us have some sort of Twitter following in some capacity, right? But so he started running Twitter ads to this like very like discounted offer compared to what they normally sell it for. Like it was a great offer for their software.
Phenomenal.
And he was making like 40x ROAS.
No, like a 7x return on ad spend,
Okay,
which
yeah,
means
there.
let's say
I thought it was
it was
20,
way higher.
20 to 40.
if it was, the point still remains. It's
Yeah.
even worse. He should have spent more money.
And so we're eating fucking meatballs down here in Brickell, and Brian hears this, and how much he was making, and he was like, dude, like the rest of the dinner, ad spend.
Spend more money, dude.
It was legendary.
He's like, yeah, I'll think about it. It's like, no. Don't think about it, dude. You go home and you spend more money. And he's like, yeah, you think so? I was like, dude, this is an ad man's dream right now. He's spending $1 to make $12. And like, you got to just push all your money into that because you're going to make $12 for every $1 you spend. The math, like, even a fifth grader can make that work. And like, they're going to sell lemonade for $1 and make $3, or it's going to cost them $1 and they're going to make $7, $6 profit. Of course, they're going to just spend as much money as possible as they can. But I don't think he did, dude. And that pissed me off.
I think I talked to him
I even told him, I was like, I'll give you my own money to spend it on this and you just pay me back. And then I get interest on that.
I talked to him about it, and he goes, I don't know, it didn't work or something. I didn't really get a full answer on it.
It's so like, man, like listening to you talk and just all of the bubble that we're in, because we are in a bubble that everybody kind of thinks a similar way, and we all have a lot of different interests, and we all have sort of this blind conviction that we can just go and do these things. And it's so funny because, like, I wonder if it's our journeys and what we're doing that build it on us, or I wonder if it's just like they're inherently like just kind of a part of our spirit. I don't know. I'm super curious.
I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I truly think it's a combination. And
it's hilarious. Like, all of our friends will get this excited about like the nerdiest shit. Like, just
it's the commonality, dude. Like, this is an industry that we're all in. This is like something we're all hyped about. We all share as like stuff that we do, growing personal brands, creating content, running ads, right? Getting followers, getting clients.
We were talking about this. It's like, dude, we were talking about ManyChat and like messaging on the back end of the platforms and like retargeting and stuff. And we were just like freaking out about how like great it is and like how we're going to make so much money with it.
Yeah, but to somebody on the street, they would know what they're like. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
What the fuck? What's ManyChat?
Yeah, I don't know about you. Yeah, but it's like it's hard to talk about this stuff to people that don't do it. Like, I don't really talk about it to people that don't do it because I don't want to be the guy that's like, I don't know. It's just they
don't get it.
Yeah, you just also don't want to like you're just more reserved. I found with people that aren't in the space. And
for sure,
that's fine. But that's why I think we get hyped up, because when we meet people that are doing similar things that are gonna geek out about ManyChat automations and Zapier and all these things to get people to opt into this lead magnet or whatever the hell it is, it's like, holy shit, yeah, this is sick. And then you just want to keep talking to more people like that.
I'm super curious, Brian, too, because like I know I just like the stuff that I post about is like what I'm doing all the time, you know, just like building my shit out, training. You know, I don't really do
what's on your mind.
Like, yeah, I don't really do any like, I make music, but it's all like me doing things. I never really like, or for the most part, I feel like it's very secluded and you can't talk to a lot of people just because I'm doing things that a lot of people don't typically enjoy or a lot of people don't do or whatever. And so I'm super curious, like, if you have any, I would love to hear like the non-marketer fitness, Brian, like, do you have any things that you go and do? Like, what does nobody know about you and your story that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that, like, honestly, I will have my own health and wellness brand in the next 5 years.
Cool.
It's going to be fitprofessional.com. It's going to tailor to the digital marketing, basically media buyer, agency owner space to enhance their life with supplements and clothing and everything that I truly believe in as well. Like, that's why I resonate with you guys, number one, because you guys live that same lifestyle. But, when I'm not working, I'm probably doing myofascial release on a freaking lacrosse ball. I'm using the Theracane and I'm just working out the kinks on my pecs or like my shoulders. I'm stretching. I'm going to the beach and grounding. I'm standing in the sun, tanning my balls on my balcony. I'm freaking just like trying to just escape almost my mind in a way where I can just come to a place of presence and just be in the now. Like, I really love holistic health, if that's what people refer to it now. I just think of it as natural living, like trying to be as
it's just health.
Health and minimalistic, right?
Yeah.
Like just sustainability too. Like, and nothing fires me up more than like even my mom and my stepdad now, like and my dad now too. Like, just my mom and my stepdad, they eat healthier than me. They're putting me on to natural products and foods and things like that. So like, that's also something that I don't talk about too much, but it's also something I'm very passionate about. So it's always been like the vision to build adspend.com, create this community of digital marketers that are also interested in the same things like us, and then just also find more ways to add value to them. Because like, dude, that's why I was telling you before the podcast started. I was like, dude, your posture thread that you posted on Twitter the other day was freaking fire, man. I was like, people reading that who don't know anything about posture can read that. And if they just take one of those cues that you gave them, they can literally change their life. Why? Because if they start implementing that cue, whatever one it was, whether it's, shoulders down and back, or, what is it, spreading out your ankles or whatever it was.
Rotating,
yes.
Yeah.
One of those things, then their awareness goes from no awareness to, okay, now I have a little bit of awareness. And then that awareness spirals into, well, maybe I should be eating a little bit healthier. Or maybe I should be drinking spring water. Or maybe I should not be drinking plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Now you just changed their life, dude.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm glad you brought up that word, because it's something that I talk about with both our Launch Socials clients and my fitness people. Like,
what word specifically?
Awareness. Like awareness. And I think it's actually really interesting looking back at this conversation. Like, if you can cultivate the awareness, like you saw Christian Guzman, or both of you saw Christian Guzman, or Grant Cardone, or like I remember seeing those people. Actually, the thing that set me down this path, I was in a really weird place in my life, like just in college, but I saw one of the drop shipping ads on Facebook. And it was just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, this kid's making 40 grand a month. He probably wasn't.
And on that note, not just the awareness, but the pedestalizing of these figures that are running ads and the people that are out there doing the organic like content marketing. I think a lot of people put these people on pedestals and they're like, oh, wow, they look up at them, but they don't try to achieve similar to them. And then it creates this space that you will never achieve,
dude,
because you don't believe.
Every single person has the capability for entrepreneurship, and to have an offer and to build. Like, honestly, I think it's the future too. Like, there'll obviously still be jobs that exist, but like,
well, like Jeff Lerner, right? Jeff Lerner, who's if you guys don't know who Jeff Lerner, he's the founder of like a company called Entre Institute. He's all over the ad space. You've definitely seen his face before. His company's on track to do like, I think 80 million in a year, which is crazy in the info marketing space. That's those numbers. He's a
big boy numbers.
A team of 100 people. Like that's like a really big company in this space for what like the industry that we're in. But to your point, one of the things that he said that stuck with me was it's actually going to be riskier to not be an entrepreneur in the future.
100%. And it's crazy seeing, especially like the taste shit now has been like cementing. I mean, not that I like some of it, sure, but like a lot of it's like not even crazy. It's not cancel you off the internet.
It's taken out of context.
Yeah. And like you watch Tate, and if you just unbiasedly watch his content and you listen to the things he says, a lot of what he says I can agree with, right? A lot of the stuff that he says and the tone that he says, he's doing it to be entertaining as well, to get a point and to spread it across the platforms.
But it's my point in even bringing him up was, it's like the only way, like how many are they going to come for me for thinking that I should be allowed to eat meat? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to, in the only way that believing these things that are against, the mega corporation profit sheet or margin sheet or whatever you want to fucking call it, like, is having that skill set. You know what I mean? Or we saw it, like I saw it during COVID. So, dude, I was fucking traveling during COVID, And then there's like other people that can't physically are taking the ability to work from them. And it was just fucking crazy to me. And I think like, everyone that is listening to this, even if it's just like something on the side, man, like you should start building that up and start building like your own brand and equity. Because it's the only thing that you can really rely on long term.
It's the safest bet. It's betting on yourself, dude. And everyone has a story to share. Everyone has some sort of skill set that they can monetize now, especially. Like, dude, one of our clients in our Done With You YouTube Ads coaching program, he helps former Amish people get married in 90 days or less. People that converted from not being Amish to going to like regular society.
Amish wifey, dog.
Think about how niche that is, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a market for anything.
He's probably doing super well too.
Well, yeah, because it's very niche. You can charge a premium price as well.
It's super interesting because we were talking about it earlier, talking to that one person. I think everybody that like I talk to so many people in this space that like want to do something or they're interested in doing something, and they always think that they have to like model something but like they think that they have to go like be X person. But if you can have that just like one thing, like, dude, it's so funny. Like, You know, if any of our clients were to come to us and be like, yo, we want to run YouTube ads, be like, sweet, go to Brian. I don't know how to, like, I can give you general tips, but go to Brian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or or vice versa.
Yeah, you want to grow on Instagram.
And
go to Logan,
think it's
go
like,
to Ron Socials, go to Nick.
It's like so interesting because everybody thinks that they have to take like this gargantuan market share, and you don't. You need like 0.04%
because of the size of the market.
Yes.
The markets are huge,
Right.
and it'll help you more if you can go super specific and just run one little thing, like helping former if we have any Amish ladies listening that
Yeah, I can introduce you to Carlos. I'll introduce you to Carlos. He's the client.
or me.
Yeah, crazy, dude. There's a market for anything, man. There's a market for anything.
I want to know, because we have to wrap it up soon, because we had a camera mishap today and we have to return a camera.
Sorry about that, Brian. We want to give you your
Nah, dude, this has been
But
fun.
I want to know, because you mentioned the fitness brand
Mhm.
and doing that in 5 years, and you're currently doing YouTube. Let's talk about what you're currently doing and where you want to go in the next 5 to 10 years, and like how you're trying to set that up.
Yeah, so right now our focus is on.
I would even say just like, because we always like to know what people are actually doing. You know, that's
Yeah.
kind of like part of the pod.
Yeah, like like what?
So I would say like wrapping up like 2022 Q4, like
Yeah.
what's on your mind, what
And
are you
then we'll go
working
to
on?
the
and then
future.
long-term vision.
Yeah, right now our team consists of 6 people right now. It's me, Charlie, who's client success, Nick, who's doing operations. I'm sales and marketing, and our focus is getting about 10 more clients at a fat retainer plus percentage of
We were just
revenue.
talking about this.
Yes.
How's that working out?
Dude, it's the conviction's there now, where it's like you just got to sell yourself, like we were talking about earlier. Like sometimes you undervalue what you do, and then you have to go look at all the results you produced and say, no, this is what we're worth. And so now we don't want to like just work with any client for a flat fee just because they can pay us this amount of money. We want to work with the specific clients who we personally believe in. Like for example, we just got one client. His name's Peter. He does stock options trading for everyday people who want to obviously make more money in the stock market. He has 700 active current members into his membership continuity for $697 a month. So he's doing about $500 a month right now, just with himself and a few team members, and he's not running any ads. And so I talked to this guy, and number one, he already is successful. Number two, he's the most humble guy you'll ever meet. Number three, he actually cares about his customers. The first thing he told me was, dude, I just want to help more people. So how can we do that with YouTube ads? Because I know that there's people getting crushed in this economy with crypto, with options traders that are just fake. They're not actually doing it themselves. Meanwhile, he's showing up every single day in his community, giving live trades, helping people stick for an average of 22 months, which means people wouldn't stick for that long, paying $697,
LTV is crazy.
like 15 grand per customer. So it means he's got a great product, a great offer, and he's a great guy. And I say that because that's who I want to work with.
Yeah.
These guys that actually care about helping people instead of just taking any Joe Schmo who wants.
It feels so good when we get like a text message about a result from someone.
Yeah.
That like just joined. Hey man, like I just changed my offer and I made like 5x.
Just
what
like
I,
that.
what I
made
normally
my
was making
first
because
sale.
of what you told
One
me.
tip.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like that's a big, really backwards thing in internet marketing. Is it just feels as if a lot of people are not really like down to actually help. You know what I mean? And you can have selfish reasons, but
Fly by
like,
night offers, short-term thinking. It's,
Yeah,
But
like-
I think if everybody starts off, like I have experiences working with clients that I realized I shouldn't have worked with them. And the red flags were there from the very beginning. I could tell they didn't really care about what they were doing or all this stuff. And you learn from those as well. And then you learn who maybe you should not work with as well. So the point being, though, is that I want to work with just the people that I actually believe in and that I resonate with in terms of values, right? And that's what we're focused on right now. So,
and when you take that frame of I want to help people, the product just becomes so good because you actually put the time in to create a product that helps people that it just gets results, and getting the results just makes it so much easier for the ads to work.
the marketing
and the content
becomes
to work.
fucking easy as hell because it's like, dude, this works.
It becomes easy to make money when you help
I
people.
made that reel like a day or two yesterday. Like,
well, even me, I was at Cole Gordon's mastermind like 3 weeks ago, and Todd Brown, who's notoriously known as like the marketer who helps other marketers with their marketing, like he was on stage talking about the super secret skill you need to scale. It's not marketing, it's not sales, it's not tactic, it's not ads. It's literally what Alex Hormozi's been preaching for the last year. Your offer. Make your offer so good that it helps people, gets the result in a better way than any other offer in the marketplace, and you don't really need to do any marketing.
And
you
I
just need
think
to put it in front of people.
I think like when I first started, I was like drop shipping products from China, and those products didn't help people at all. And it's like, it's just a weird frame. And I didn't really like what I was doing, right? And I wasn't very successful at it, you know.
I think
But
because
maybe that's
I
why
was the
too,
same.
right?
I,
Yeah.
I
Probably
was the
why.
same way, and I think that's why I wasn't successful.
it's probably
Or,
why.
like I had stuff. No, actually.
Well, even
did
when
do
I
it.
was doing door-to-door sales, dude, like I was energetic. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't really believe in solar as much as I probably should have to sell it.
I talked about this last podcast where I was selling cars, and these people are coming in trying to buy a 50, 60, 70K truck, and they have nothing. They have to cash out all their investments to buy this. And I'm like, well, it's my job to sell this car, but this guy's an idiot. Like,
yeah, so what you said is pretty powerful though too. Like, you know, for everyone who's watching, for you watching this right now, if you have something that you want to do, like you got to also be passionate about it too. And it takes reps to find that thing. Drop shipping, right? Selling cars, right? Door-to-door sales. You know, working for Ben as well. Like just learning these skills so you can that's again going back to Rich Dad Poor Dad, bro. Work to learn, not to earn. You acquire the skills, and then you use those skills to then sell or create something that you actually legitimately believe in and are passionate about. Because then then what you said earlier becomes a reality. You don't want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You want to wake up early. You want to just keep working.
There's no, you can't like force it. It just has to happen.
It's exciting, dude.
It has to happen. You cannot force your way through all of that work that it takes to get to that level.
Yep.
And I think being passionate about something as well doesn't just have to be, oh, I'm passionate about it. It can be like I'm passionate about things I'm good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
Or being passionate about being the best at it.
Yes, I don't necessarily love Instagram marketing, but I'm really good at it.
You're
And
good
I'm really
at
good
it,
at
yeah.
acquiring followers and building audiences. And then when you see that number go up, 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 and up in your bank account and the follower count, et cetera, and clients are happy and whatever, and your brands are growing, you get passionate about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's super fun. It's a game you start to play.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
So
100%.
we're a little bit over time, but where are you going? What's the trajectory? Did we finish the Q4 talk?
So focusing on more done-for-you agency clients, right? That's the main step right now.
What happened with the Sam Ovens partnership?
Yeah, so we're still doing it. I mean, I'm still
Yeah.
fulfilling on it. Sam's really focused on growing school.com.
Love
I
school.
truly believe it's the
like
best.
I told you, I use it for all my
School's
stuff now.
great.
It's the
I
best
love school.
education platform to host your course or coaching program, in my opinion. I'm a user of school as well. I push it to everybody I know.
Episode sponsored by School.
And he's
Sam,
really focused
send
on
us a check, brother.
he's really focused on pushing that, and that's what his focus is on, right? So it's like me and his team are fulfilling on all of it. The clients are getting results inside of the program, which is called the WeTube. It's a mastermind, teaches YouTube ads, YouTube organic, and how to create a mastermind, and that's going well. So it's served its purpose to be able to have that in my life, and I'm thankful for Sam for giving me that opportunity. And now the focus is on growing the agency with the right clients, and then the mastermind for us. That's always been my goal, to build a mastermind with agency owners, media buyers, and service providers that also run clients' ads, to learn from us and how we've done it, how we've gotten our clients, how we've marketed and branded ourselves, and to teach what I've learned to them and pass it down.
Yeah.
And then eventually that creates the next step, which is Fit Professional, selling these other things to help them improve their productivity, their focus, everything that we know that people just don't know, right? It's like that awareness of giving them these to say, okay, I can improve my life to make this result happen faster.
I think if you're listening to this and you take anything from this podcast, like and something that I would just love to push more at, because like I said, all of this stuff is actually simple. That you need to hear is simple, and it just requires work, and so less people want to do it. And there's shiny things out there that distract us, but like if you can cultivate the awareness of what you want and what is possible, and you can create this conviction or belief in yourself and your skills and all of these things, like if you have those two things, I feel like that's so much more impactful than X marketing tip or this sales thing.
Really, the sales tips and the marketing tactic or whatever, the things you're in YouTube, I'm really in Instagram, Logan's in the fitness stuff and in the personal brand, whatever. They're just vehicles to get what we want. They're just, the marketing tactics, et cetera, are just vehicles and things you do to get the actual place you want to be. So the mindset and the seeking of the actual thing comes first.
It's all personal growth, dude.
Yeah.
You got to grow personally to be able to grow professionally and get more money. Like that's all comes back to what's going on in your mind. What are your habits like? Are you disciplined? Are you consistent? Are you putting in the inputs to get the outputs?
It's super
It's
spiritual.
all the basic stuff like you said earlier.
It's super spiritual.
Yeah, man. The tactics will come when you are ready for the tactics to work because you're doing the right things every single day, right? So, spot on.
Amazing. any last, before I ask that, I love this episode because Logan and I are really picky about the guests we bring on. We're 9 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
We brought email on and you on so far. And we really want to focus on bringing like real players on to the podcast that we actually like talk to. So I'm super glad you're here, bro.
Dude,
I didn't say that at the beginning, but
hell yeah.
Yeah,
Glad
you're here.
Guys, we'll put all Brian's links in the description.
Yes.
Go check him out. Thanks for watching.
Anything you want to add while we're still here?
Well, the only thing I'll add is, like Logan said, like you said, like just keep consuming this type of information. There's going to be a lot of people that will choose to see this and hate on it. A lot of people that will choose to see this and say these guys don't know what they're talking about, and that's fine, right? The only thing I'll say is that if you look at this and you're inspired at what we're saying and it's motivating you to say that, yeah, like this is everything that resonates with me, keep consuming this type of information, right? You got to program yourself with this type of information in order to get yourself to become a person who's worth more as well. So yeah, you guys are going to keep crushing it, and I'm glad that you guys are doing
I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you. And you guys can find us on clips on TikTok and IG now. We just started the IG. At Associates Pod. We've had a lot of haters. We've had a lot of people reacting to our audio clips, etc. So,
but for the one person that this reaches,
yeah. It's fun. So we're just having fun with it. They can hate all they want, and yeah, go follow those so you guys can see the clips. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And we'll see you guys next episode. This was episode 9.
Peace.